Last month, Elon Musk merged two of his companies, XAI and X, into one powerhouse company. Now valued over $113 billion in just a few short years, Elon has one of the most powerful AI companies in the world. Never bet against Elon and never underestimate his grand plan. Today, we'll review the full list of all the companies he started, owns, and now runs. We'll look at the 15 industries he's transformed so far, from online maps and payments to brain-machine interfaces, and of course, now humanoid robots, autonomous transportation, and artificial intelligence. We'll review the path he took to get there and stay to the end when we discuss what we think is his grand strategy. With Elon Musk, he's thought this through way ahead of time, and as many says, he's playing 4D chess with a strategy to change the world for the better. As investors in Tesla, we get to hang on for the exciting ride. Got Larry Goldberg here with us today. Welcome, Larry.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Larry, glad that you are here. You're a multi-entrepreneur. You've done this over and over and over again, and you've built companies from scratch. You've sold them. You're a mini Elon Musk, but not
in any way, shape, or form.
Anywhere near close, Elon.
Not even close. I mean, Elon has an incredible track record. Every one of the companies that he started has been a success. It's just a question of the magnitude of success. I can't say that for myself.
You've been very successful. You've been multi-entrepreneur though. So you got, anyways, my point is, you have some idea of starting companies, trying, how difficult it is. Even Elon at one point claimed that starting companies like chewing glass or something like that, staring at an abyss.
Staring into the abyss, yes. And
but take a look.
In that regard, I absolutely agree with him.
Me too, by the way.
Right there. I've been on the edge of that abyss so many times and sometimes fallen in.
Yeah, I'm a startup founder myself, so I kind of have a small, tiny little thing. So here's Elon, great list of all the industries he's transformed. There's 15 of them, okay? Mm-hmm. And people forget this. People don't realize that when Elon first started, he actually, coded the first online maps that we're using this today. Google
vector-based online maps. There were simple pictorial maps before that, but he kind of invented the idea of using vector-based maps, which really transformed that industry.
Amazing. And of course, he created X, which turned into PayPal. PayPal bought them. I'll go through that list shortly here, but online payments. And it's funny how it's...
PayPal didn't buy them. It was a merger. It was actually the other way around.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't realize that.
Bought PayPal and changed the name into PayPal.
Gotcha.
So Elon definitely got the better of that merger. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then, of course, it's come through full circle because he renamed Twitter to X, and X has been bought by XAI, and soon XAI will be launching X Money, which is going to be reigniting this whole thing. Space exploration, electric transportation, autonomous transportation, energy, internet access, because of Starlink, artificial intelligence, brain-machine interface, urban transport, tunneling, manufacturing, supply chain, humanoid robots, social media, news media, government, and bureaucracy now. This is any industry he comes in, he transforms.
Yeah,
takes over.
I think just putting one line item for space exploration really is, it's hiding this gigantic... There's no industry is transformed more radically than space exploration.
Right.
He's turned space exploration from a sometime, government undertaking to a situation where he's launching rockets at the rate at which we used to fly aircraft. And he's aiming to get to a point where they're flying as often and as easily as aircraft. This transformation is more revolutionary than almost any other industry he's touched. It's extraordinary.
That's a big statement to make, and I think we can debate that one.
I don't think you can. Honestly, I honestly don't believe you can. I mean, you can look at any of the industries that he's transformed dramatically, but nowhere has he done quite as much dramatic and complete change of that industry. Look, today there is a huge space industry. I don't think I'm not sure many people are aware of it, because there are very few companies that have come to public markets. But there are hundreds of space companies, startups in the United States today. There are some tens of them in Europe. It's inconceivable that many more than 2 or 3 of them would exist today without Elon Musk.
Okay, I think if you use the definition of changing the industry, I get it. So here's a good list that we put together here that kind of shows the list of companies that he founded, co-founded, or owns, right? So he founded Zip2, and he sold that for $307 million. So he became a multi-millionaire in 1999. He doesn't have current involvement at that point. He sold it to eBay, I think. X.com.
No. He sold it to Compaq Computers.
Okay, gotcha. X.com. PayPal was the one that was sold to eBay.
Yes.
Merged with PayPal, sold for $1.5 billion in 2002. So this is 3 years later. It's like his. I mean, obviously, his first one takes. That was the partnership with Kimball, and they were like living in the basement, but they came away with a win. And then he bet all of it right into X.com, merged with PayPal, and of course we know PayPal is a brand, very successful, sold to eBay, $1.5 billion. Then he started his SpaceX at 2002, and now at $350 billion valuation. He started Tesla at 2003.
By the way, of SpaceX, he owns about 42% in that range, 40% range.
It's crazy.
And,
it's amazing.
Just quickly on Zip2, he owned a small percentage. I forget the number, but I think it was in the 10 to 15% range, maybe even below 10%. X.com, he owned about 11% or 10% or 11%. SpaceX today owns about 40% of that company.
That's amazing. Okay, so we know he started both of these, SpaceX and Tesla, very successful, still around. Not only still around, they're massive companies, almost $1 trillion in Tesla, depending on the valuation of the stock, and same with SpaceX. And you do think that SpaceX will be eventually valued more than Tesla? No, but Tesla is supposed to be, Elon has said, the largest company because it got the robots.
Yeah, it's very probable that SpaceX will be valued at quite a bit higher, in the future. But the opportunity for Tesla to grow dramatically larger than this is just on, it's on the cards, because Tesla really is multiple different startups, each of which could be potentially worth more than Tesla's currently worth.
Then you got, again, few people realize he was the one who founded OpenAI. There's a whole story. They're both suing each other at this point. So now the backstory is coming out. But he created OpenAI, famously explained why he did that. He was afraid that Google DeepMind is owned by a corporation. He wanted to have an open to make it safer, that anybody can have equal power at their hands. But of course, OpenAI is now the one that created ChatGPT, and then they're valued at 260. He has no involvement in it, but he put in $100 million into that to start.
It was less than 100 million, to be honest. I think it was.
It was?
Yeah, closer to 50 million.
But then you got the Boring Company, valued at $7 billion. Neuralink, which is brain-machine interface, which is amazing, obviously. And this is going to be, some people will argue that Neuralink could be bigger than many of the other companies, but it's just crazy that he did this, right? Just early stages.
Yeah, but Neuralink, there are quite a few competitors to Neuralink, and there's a fairly large industry on brain-machine interfaces, burgeoning industry. It's coming in brain-machine interface, and the unique position of Neuralink is there are multiple reasons that it's uniquely positioned. One of which is this idea of that he's developed this robot to automatically implant it, and that enables him to expand and to make this very widely available. Something like these machines, these LASIK machines and so on.
LASIK for eyes, yeah.
And so that's unique about Neuralink. I personally value Neuralink significantly higher than its current valuation, simply because it hasn't had around very recently, and it hasn't had to have it around very recently. They're extremely efficient with their money. I think if they had around today, they would be valued at more than double the current value for what
For
it's worth.
sure. And especially how important AI is. And if
Yeah.
they can show that Neuralink can actually have you access info and have that info access, that would be like a regular person will need. That's the whole point of what
Yeah.
he created
Yeah.
Neuralink. First, of course, he's solving incredible health issues like quadriplegics and soon eyesight, letting you see again. But it's whether or not you can get access to AI instantly when you think of the question and you get the answer.
Right.
Well, that is too crazy. So now, of course, we famously know that he bought Twitter, and then he had to right size Twitter. But look, he did it. Right? Everybody thought it was going to fail. It was hell, but he did it. And then he had this acquired by XAI, which a company he created. And I'll go that list. What he did there shortly here, crazy. They merged the two, and they're now worth 113. Automatically, this in just 2 years, these two together is now the largest, well, I guess one of the largest AI companies in the world. This is what he did here. Look at this. So you've got Elon. Oops, sorry. There, Elon acquired. Oh, shit. Sorry. Here we go. Elon acquired Twitter for $44 billion in October 2022. So that is not even 3 years yet. That's 2 and a bit years. He founded XAI months afterwards. Then Twitter rebranded to X. XAI raises $6 billion, now $24 billion. XAI completes the Memphis supercomputer. This is when they proved that, my God, they're better than any other AI company out there. So in just less than a year, they built a supercomputer in 122 days. This is something nobody can match. And then XAI raised $5 billion at $50 billion, and now they're worth 113 billion. So this whole endeavor here was a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years. And in 2.5 years, he created a $113 billion company. And arguably one of the top. Grok is equivalent to ChatGPT and Gemini and the others. It's like, wow.
I just want to put a note of caution here. I think all of these AI companies are significantly overvalued.
Yeah.
I would probably divide that by 3, which is still a remarkable result, by the way. Still a remarkable result. But, these valuations, until we see real earnings and we see the winners emerge, some of these companies that are valued at gigantic amounts are going to disappear. So one of the interesting features is that the level of revenue of Grok, of XAI, is pretty robust compared to the others. OpenAI has got a very, very healthy revenue stream, and their valuation is off the clock. So I would say that time will tell.
Okay. That is good comment, obviously. But AI is just starting.
I'm an investor in almost everyone. I think the only company I'm not an investor in is Boring Company, and that's not for want of trying.
Oh, really? So you do think that Boring Company has a real big potential future?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think any company that Elon operates, I want to be a part of that. I would love to be a part of that.
Okay. So I put the table together, everything Elon Musk owns, and that he's currently running or he's part of, right? So these are the companies here. Used to be XAI and X, so now they convert to one, so now it's 5 companies. But look at the valuation here, right? Tesla's, anywhere from 800 to $1 trillion. This year, after they launch robots and autonomy, and next year when they start showing that working, this is going to be higher than $1 trillion for sure. You got SpaceX 350 billion, the Boring Company at 7 billion, Neuralink at 10 billion, and then XAI 113 billion. This is as of now. So these are amazing companies.
You can place whatever values you want to on these private companies, but one thing's for sure: it's quite clear that Elon has personally created companies that are well in excess of $1 trillion in value. Well in excess of $1 trillion in value, taken all together. So it is quite remarkable what he's achieved.
Larry, has he actually failed yet? Like created a company that did not do well?
It's interesting. The The answer is no. He's never created a company that did not do well. And one thing you don't have is that he's invested in several private companies, startups, that he's done pretty well in. And none of those are listed here because, he's just a limited partner and that company. But in many companies in which I've identified maybe 5 or 6 of them. And in those, he's done very well as well. So he's not only invested well, he's not only operated his own companies very well, he's invested with, quite a lot of foresight. I think of all the companies I identified, which I seem to recall there are about 5, 4 of the 5 did extremely well.
I think that he might have invested in DeepMind as well. Because DeepMind was obviously, I just watched 2 documentaries, and just last night I rewatched this one documentary. And what is his name? Dennis Hassabis. Yeah, who founded DeepMind. Then DeepMind was bought by Google, and DeepMind was the first company that actually invented, reinforcement learning. They created an AI that could play any game and then beat Go and then beat, just showed that a self-learning AI is possible. He's on his way to an AGI. But he said that Elon Musk, I saw the actual, they showed video of when Demis was in front of his little team there. And he said that there's a guy named Elon Musk and he's going to invest in us.
Right, but he didn't invest. So what happened is that Google outbid him for the company.
That's what happened.
And they had the deep pockets to do that. I think Hassabis was one of the authors of the attention paper. But, he actually earned the Nobel Prize, Hassabis, I think. But so Elon was very keen to invest in DeepMind, but
gotcha.
I think Hassabis today probably would say that it would probably have been better for DeepMind had Elon invested in it.
Yes. Yeah. The reason I bring that up is, again, few understand that Elon was talking AI. He started OpenAI. I guess he was trying to invest in DeepMind. He knew that this was going to be the thing, and at that time, people were laughing at DeepMind. They were going, "What? What is AI? Are you kidding me?" And Demis was explaining how people just couldn't believe that they're serious people because they're talking about this artificial intelligence,
right?
And it was a joke as researchers to be doing this, as companies trying to create something out of this, and they couldn't believe it until they proved it. Right? They started proving it, and it took years. But Elon was there. So here's a list of logos, by the way, just for fun. This is Grok. This is Grok, which looks like a black hole with a G, right? This is Boring Company. This is SpaceX. You got Tesla. This is the old X.
Yeah, I'm looking at this.
Neuralink.
And if I shut my eyes a little bit, it looks like you're spelling out next Gox.
Yes. Oh, yeah, cool. I mean, it depends on how you rearrange these things, right?
Yeah.
I guess what I wanted to ask you was, where's this headed? And if you look down here, somebody put this in here. Elon Fax put it in there, which is just money. And we do know that XAI is about X, which is now owned by XAI, is about to launch X money.
Yeah.
And, this is currency. This is payment. This is, I don't know. So what's your big grand strategy you think Elon is trying to do with all this? Or it's just, hey, look, I got a big industry, I'm going to solve that. I've got another big industry, I'm going to solve that. Maybe these 2 industries, is there a way that I can use that?
Elon tells us the answer to that question.
Oh, yeah, true.
Elon's
sustainable abundance.
Focus, Elon's desire, Elon's ambition is to create a civilization on Mars. You're talking about financial engineering. Elon doesn't do financial engineering. Elon is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is Mars. All of his companies are in his mind, the Deus Ex Machina. It's the means by which he gets to Mars. SpaceX directly, because he's building rockets that can go to Mars, but beyond that, the wealth, what he's doing in terms of making, robots, what he's doing in terms of making AI, all of that is focused on Mars.
Funny that you just said that, Larry. Just today, Elon posted this on X account. He said, this Curiosity, right? They posted, this is Mars, 140 million miles away. And they showed a video of Mars. And Elon says, Starship will hopefully depart from Mars at the end of next year with Optimus Explorer robots. He said that today. And I think, that made me realize when I saw that, it made me realize that it's like when you have a goal, and by the way, right, you can explain this better than everyone. Next year is a very important year for going to Mars. Like if you miss next year, you have to wait, right?
Well, it's only every 2 years. So every 2 years, roughly, Mars and Earth in their different orbits, so they're both orbiting like this, but every 2 years, they get to a point where they're really close together, really close, only 140 million miles apart. But they're close enough that if you launch a rocket from Earth, it actually will intercept Mars within 8 months, 6 to 8 months.
And the reason why that's happening next year, that gives Tesla a goal, and that you have to build Optimus robots that can be explorers, that can have functionality and survive and all that. That gives them that time frame. You have to make this happen. Elon's going to say,
and it gives
build
SpaceX,
it.
and it gives SpaceX a time frame.
Yeah.
Because remember, they've only launched 8 of these rockets so far, and they still haven't got both of them to operate optimally such that they can go into orbit, let alone reach Mars. And in addition, they have to achieve that goal, and then they have to achieve the ability to refuel the rocket in orbit. Because it's one thing for Starship to get the ship into orbit. Once that ship is in orbit, it's run out of fuel. Now they have to refill it.
Gotcha.
Completely refill it in order to get to Mars. And it's going to take something like 8 ships to refuel one ship. So we've got a long way to go to get there. And making it by 2 years' time sounds very, very short to me.
Too short, yeah.
But it's what, it's the target Elon is setting. As always, he sets these impossible goals.
Okay. So the overarching goal, I agree with you, is going to Mars, and everything he does, the Cybertruck will be in Mars, the robots will be Mars.
It goes
he needs
beyond
payment.
Getting to Mars. No, Herbert, the actual goal is not getting to Mars.
It's living a city in Mars. Yeah.
A sustainable civilization of human beings on Mars. That's the goal. So if you think about that goal, just getting robots to Mars is like a triviality compared to the ultimate goal. So when you think about this vast industrial enterprise he has created, industrial and intellectual enterprise he's created, it's for an even vaster goal. And that goal, ultimately, if you put it all together, is to get humanity a second planet to live on, an alternate planet, a reserve planet to live on, and ultimately use that as a stepping stone to explore the solar system and beyond. So that, if you look at everything he's done in life to date, that's the goal. And that goal didn't exist when he was born. That goal didn't exist when he was 21. That goal didn't exist when he was 30. But he came to that goal from all the work he had done up to that stage. And so, it's clear that by 2003, when he started Tesla and SpaceX, well, he actually started SpaceX first and added Tesla, he was beginning to form that concept.
Yeah, that's why I predict that the next 2 industries that Tesla or Elon's going to announce would be, one is some sort of shelter, housing, and another one could be food.
Yeah, he's explored shelter. He hasn't really settled on anything, but he's definitely explored it. And I'm not sure that shelter on Earth really translates to shelter in Mars, because they mean so much. They mean such different things in the two planets. And food is also
It could be that
interesting.
Boring Company could be the answer.
Yeah,
Create tunnels, create a city underground. That's right.
Yeah. So when you ask me about, am I interested in investing in Boring? I think that's the reason I'm interested, because Boring is definitely part of the plan. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, so today, back on Earth, the most important thing right now, right, is not only, well, they're the same thing, which is what do you call physical AI? So it's AI, and both real world AI and physical AI and general
Embodied AI, I think is what you mean.
Yeah. And so currently today created this list of the largest AI companies by market cap. And I mean, it's obviously wrong. There's a lot of things wrong here. Apple has no AI at this point. We don't even know what their AI strategy is. I don't even know we can call them an AI company. But in terms of market cap, they're pretty big. Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, Meta. I put Tesla here. Again, that's wrong. The $1 trillion is wrong as of now. And then, IBM, Intel, Palantir. Again, I'm sure this is wrong, but I was just trying to find a way to say, it's not like, it's not OpenAI, it's not these small guys, it's Perplexity, it's like every large Mag 7 is trying to become AI companies, and you need that money to be able to build the largest data centers, and it's the largest data centers that's going to be the ability to actually have the leadership in AI. Is this? I don't know. How would you guide me in making some sort of list like this?
When you're in such a young industry, making any list that's serious is really, really difficult. It's so dynamic. It is so dynamic. And we're mixing so many different realities. I mean, to call IBM and Apple, AI companies is really stretching the imagination. I mean, both of them could be, both of them may want to be. They're not currently. Even Palantir, I'm not sure ranks. Time will tell. This is like 1999, and the .com boom has just begun. So we'll see. Time will tell.
This is great. Thank you so much, Larry. This was fun. Perfect person to talk to. You understand not only, starting companies, but you understand Elon so well. You've invested in many of his companies, as you just said. The only one is Boring, that they won't let you, huh? Got to find a way to get in there.
They don't need enough money. They don't need. They're not. They really need to be growing much faster than they are. So.
But they're bogged down by regulation. And that's just the thing. Cities, we need to approve them, and then they can go. Yeah. But otherwise, that's what he said, right? Regulation is the issue.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Larry. That was fun. Follow Larry on his X account at TSLA Larry. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.